Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show on Sirius XM Sports Grid, Jacob Sports, and live streaming on Twitter. Let me introduce this lineup. We're going to go to the first to World Series of Poker champion, legendary gambler, one of the sharpest sports bettors I know, Jamie Gold.
Thank you, Godfather. I am so excited to be here. I love NFL season. Red zone and all day on a Sunday, all day Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. Don't bother me during that time.
It's the best time of the year.
This is my favorite time of the year. So I know that we're going to get right into it. We're doing our show a day early this week, so we can actually give out some info on Thursday night. And I have a feeling that I'm going to become kind of the king of teasers on this show. And But they're really fun, and as long as they're winning, and so I'm going to continue my my teaser run by going with on. I want to give out a pick. My first pick of the show is going to be, I'm going to take plus 12 and over 43 on the Eagles. I'm going to take plus 12 and over 43 because I know it's down to 6. It started.
So you're taking Minnesota plus 12 and over 43 on the total?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm the Eagles could win this game. I don't, Minnesota could win this game, but I don't want to have to worry about it. I just don't want the Eagles winning by more than 12, and I think it's going over 43. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I don't think either defense is that great or missing. They're missing. The Eagles are just missing a lot of personnel.
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts started off a little slow. I expect our offense to pick up a little bit. And Minnesota loves to throw the ball. I think they threw the ball like 75% of the time last week. It was the second most in the NFL. Next up, the legend. You've seen him on every newspaper in the country, Vice, TV, HBO. There's a documentary right now, Flagrant Foul. Jimmy the Sheep Battista. Jimmy, what's going on, brother?
Good evening, family, and how's everybody this evening?
Just getting ready to fire. You got before we start firing away and breaking down games and we start, talking the lingo, is there any NFL team that you want to share with? You let Colorado State out the bag in the college football show, so you might as well fire on an NFL game that we haven't given out yet if you like anybody.
I mean, I love the dog Thursday night. I mean, it's just, I'm all over the dog. There's another game I like a lot. I like the Chiefs this week. I think.
Would you like 2.5?
Yeah, I mean, if I could lay a pick minus 60, or I don't know if we're going to get to 2.5 there, but I mean, it's a solid 3. But I like Kansas City this week.
All right. Next up, let me introduce you to the 8-Ball. He's been on fire. You can follow him on 8-Ball. He's one of the originators at the Phillygodfather.com. 8-Ball, what's going on, brother?
Feeling good. Ready for some football.
You feeling dangerous with that ladder challenge? 10 in a row. Next up, Matt Maltepes from the College Kids and Bobby from the College Kids, two of my lead handicappers at the Phillygodfather.com. What's going on, guys?
Every day's a good day. Can't complain. Ready to fire. We'll wait for the viewers and listeners, and can't wait for this upcoming weekend.
All right, let's get another week. You excited, Bob?
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. Right out the gate, you see odds changing to win the Super Bowl. San Fran's down to plus 650. The Eagles are at 700. The Chiefs are at 700. The Cowboys down to 900 from 16 to 1. You got the Bills. I don't know how they lost to that Jets team without Aaron Rodgers, but they went to 11 to 1. Bengals are at 14 to 1. The Dolphins, 8-Ball has a future on them at 40 to 1. They're down to 15 to 1. The Lions are at 17 to 1. The College Kids, Bobby, Matt, and myself have futures on the Browns at 39 to 1. They're down to 18 to 1. Man, let me go to Jamie first. Jamie, the 49ers look really good about the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, I love the 49ers, and you know how I feel about Brock Purdy. I don't think he gets enough respect. I think he is the field general that keeps that team moving forward with these unbelievably powerful, assets and weapons that he has. I'm still on the 49ers. I love that pick for them to win their division. The line is gone way against, which is the way it should be. And I also had the Jaguars to win their division, and they're on pace. They're looking fine after week one. And luckily, I have not lost a bet that I've given out on these shows yet. I hope to keep that going as long as possible.
Keep
I know
firing.
it's almost
Keep
impossible to keep it going, but we'll see.
Yeah. And the only thing that scares me about this 49ers team is I know they ran the ball down the Steelers' throat. They had about 188 yards total rushing. But can Purdy, against the big boys, against the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Chiefs, even the Lions and Browns, can he pass the ball enough and gain enough yardage for them, in the playoffs to go deep and possibly, win a Super Bowl? That's a little bit – I think he's the weakest link on that team, and he's played great, and they're a solid team, but he kind of scares me a little bit. But let's move on to Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Matt, this Philadelphia Eagles team, not looking like they did last year, and their odds are still at 7-1. Do you think that's a good bet to jump on them right now or not?
Well, in the first show, I talked about how they were not a good bet, and you guys can go back and watch that. But, looking at this Eagles team, I'm still not impressed, right? I wasn't impressed before the season started. Now I'm less impressed. I mean, we look at, first of all, we talked with Pro Football Doc, who we're going to have as a guest.
We got 20 seconds before the next segment, Matt. So if you want to hold that thought, or if you think they're a good wager or not.
No.
All right, there we go. All right, make sure you guys come back to our second segment. Follow the action, the sports betting show. We'll be right back.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News?
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the Phillygodfather.com, and you're listening on SiriusXM, Jacob Sports, and Sports Grid. Now, I want to go back to Matt. I know I cut you off short. I apologize for that, but, with this radio stuff, we have a limited amount of time in each segment. Matt, we're going back to the Eagles. Why are they not a good bet if you're looking to bet them now to win the Super Bowl at 7-1?
Well, first of all, we're going to go to the injury bug. This team was very healthy last year. That does not happen repeatedly year after year. I mean, they had 22 returning starters in the Super Bowl last year. I do not see that happening again this year. And we talked to Pro Football Doc, as I mentioned before, about the chance of Jalen Hurts getting hurt and the higher likelihood of him getting hurt being a running quarterback.
Yeah. And if you look at the first game out the gate, I mean, they were extremely lucky to win that game. Covering it was even more luckier. But you look at the Patriots, they had 7 more first downs, 131 more total yards. And if it wasn't for the early 2 turnovers in that first quarter that helped the Eagles jump out to a 16-0 lead, I mean, I don't think they win the game or cover the spread. So this team's on some shaky grounds. They lost a couple players going into Thursday night, short week. You got new coordinators, offensive, defensive. So this is going to be a little tough on this team. Let me go to 8-ball next. 8-ball, with the Eagles not looking as good as last year and the Cowboys looking unreal, how you feeling about that Cowboys future coming out the gate at 16-1?
I feel the same way. I think the Cowboys they won 40-0 week 1 as 3-point favorites on the road, which is impressive against a division rival. Meanwhile, the Eagles struggled to stop Mac Jones, giving up 300 yards through the air. I think Kirk Cousins comes in there Thursday and beats that team. I think him, Jefferson, Hawkinson, they're going to expose that secondary. Bradbury's out. Blankenstein's out. I think the injuries are going to start piling up for the Eagles, and it's going to be kind of the opposite effect of last year.
So could you see this team possibly finishing third in the NFC East? I mean, Washington, they're stacked on a defensive line, and they beat us last year, and now their quarterback's looking a little better. You think there's a possibility if they, end up third in the NFC East?
I think it's going to be a tight race, but I do think the Eagles have a much talented roster on both sides of football. I think they get it done, second place in the division.
All right, there you go there. All right, now, next up, let me go to Bobby from the College Kids. Bobby. He's not on. Okay. There he is, Bobby. Cleveland Browns right out the gate. I mean, looking unstoppable. They beat that Bengals team. I mean, they beat them down. It wasn't even close. You and Matt, 39-1 on the Browns. How you feel?
I'm feeling great. As I expected, their defense came out of the gates just locked down. They wouldn't allow Joe Burrow or any of those receivers to really get anywhere down the field. They came in, their defense second in EPA per play and first in success rate. I know Deshaun Watson didn't look great. He did come out and talk about how he was cramping up. He had an IV at halftime, and he didn't even play that bad. So to think that he wasn't even at 100%, it's scary to think where this team can go.
Yeah, let me go back to 8-ball. 8-ball, 40-1 on the Dolphins. I mean, that's a great price that you got before the season started. They're down to 15-1. How you feeling about them?
To go to LA against that high-powered Chargers offense and win a big game on the road like that sets the tone for the rest of the season. You know that offense is going to be able to score points. They need to shore up the defense, but very confident in this team.
How do you feel about them this week? I mean, 2.5-point favorites against a Pittsburgh team that got really beat up by Jamie's favorite team, the San Francisco 49ers. Would you lay the 2.5, or are you looking to bet the money line on this? You like any side yet?
Are you talking about Miami or Cleveland?
I'm sorry, the Miami team. Yeah, I'm sorry. Against the Patriots.
I like Miami in this game. I mean, New England put up a good game against the Eagles, but I think Miami is a much better team on both sides of the football. I think New England's going to struggle to stop Waddle and Hill in that offense.
Yeah, let me go to Jamie. Jamie, do you like anyone in this Miami Patriots game? You think Miami's too strong?
Yeah, I like Miami. And just to clarify, I love the 49ers, but they weren't necessarily my favorite team or the only team that I love. There's just where my money is. And we love where our money is. So,
Jamie?
What's that?
I said, are you laying 8 on the road?
No, I'm taking them. All right, so
taking in the teaser.
One of my other favorite teasers is the Ravens plus 10.5 and a 7-point teaser with San Francisco minus a half. And so that's my other. I have another couple of teasers, but that's how I'm playing San Francisco this week.
Okay.
So
I like Miami too.
You like Miami? All right, let me go to Bobby. Bobby, is there a certain game you like this week more than others? Is there something you're looking at to give out to the public here?
I'm looking at Cleveland, and I'm looking at the under in this game. I know this has letdown spot written all over it for the Cleveland Browns, but this is a new era, a different Cleveland Browns team. I think they go into Pittsburgh. Losing Cam Hayward was huge for that run game. I think Cleveland goes in there. I'd lay it up to 3.
Yeah, 3. All right, let me go to 8-ball. 8-ball. All right, well, we got our special guest. He finally joined us, David Kaplan, the man from Chicago, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend. How you making out, Dave?
I'm doing well, man. How are you guys doing?
Man, excited to have you on the show, man. One of my good friends.
To be on the show.
You're looking jacked, though. You're working out like crazy.
Every day, baby.
Dark.
All right, well, let's talk about, the Bears. I know we text each other every couple of days, and last week I was texting you, and I was worried about their offensive line, and you gave me the information. What's going on with this team? Are they in trouble?
Yeah, they're in big trouble. Big trouble. First of all, I'm not a huge Eberflus guy, and I have to interview him every Monday. He's on our radio show every Monday. Nice man. I don't think he holds his guys accountable. Chase Claypool is a joke. He's really turned into a joke. I am predicting he will be inactive on Sunday because of how poorly he played against the Packers. This guy had 2 targets. He dropped them both, and his blocking on the edge in their short passing game was literally criminal. So not a Chase Claypool guy. I love their right tackle. Darnell Wright's going to be an all-pro. Maybe not this year. He's a rookie. He will turn into one of the best offensive linemen the Bears have ever had. Then their right guard, Nate Davis, he missed OTA. He signed for $30 million. He missed OTAs. He missed minicamp. And I think he went through 3 padded practices the entire training camp. Guy doesn't want to be on the field. And so he said, I'll be ready to go opening day. He gave up 9 quarterback pressures. 9. Kenny Clark ate him alive. Center Luke Patrick would not start for any other team in the league. The left guard, Tevin Jenkins, is injured on injured reserve. Cody Whitehair is been around 9 years. He's playing. He was the center, hurt his hand. They moved him to guard and taped it up. And then the left tackle, Braxton Jones, is okay. Second-year kid. He's okay. Not great, just okay. DJ Moore got 2 targets, both in the first half. You traded the number 1 pick for him. So they've got a lot of issues.
So they got the same problems they've always had. They've had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL over the past, I don't know how many years, and they're trying to bring a kid along. I mean, why can't they get it done? Why can't – I mean, what is the biggest problem the coach?
The biggest problem is I'm not sure the quarterback can play. That's the biggest problem. He is great leader. He's awesome in the room. His work ethic off the charts. First guy in the building, last guy out. He cannot go through his progressions and then see it and let it rip. He had DJ Moore 2 or 3 different times, 20, 30 yards down the field. He's got Cole Kmet on a hook route, wide open, and he either checks it down or he takes a sack. He just, for whatever reason, he struggles with his processing.
Before I ask you who you think is going to win the NFC North and who the team is to bet on, we're going to go to our next segment. So make sure you guys come back. We'll be back in a minute.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show on Sirius XM, Sports Grid, and Jacob Sports. We got one of my good friends on, David Kaplan from out there in Chicago. Dave, we're talking about the Bears, and they're not looking good after week 1. As of right now, the odds to win the North, the Lions are minus 130, Packers plus 260, Vikings are at plus 550, and the Bears are 10-1. If you had to take a team right now, who would you take? Is it the Packers?
No, I'd take the Lions. I think the Lions can actually go to the Super Bowl. I really do. I have a ticket courtesy of my friend, the Philly Godfather. I put a pretty substantial wager for me on the Dallas Cowboys to win the Super Bowl, but I also have a ticket on the Detroit Lions. So I think those are, for me, Those are the two best teams in the NFC. I'm not a big Eagles guy this year. I think Hurts is a good player. I think last year he was at this level. I think there's a little regression this year.
Yeah, and
what about the 49ers?
49ers are great too. You're right. I'll put them in there. I still question Brock Purdy is taking you to the Super Bowl.
He is taking him to the promised land. If he doesn't get hurt, he's taking them all the way.
I don't know if he can beat you with that arm, but he's looked good. He's looked efficient. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, as we all know, the turnover differential in the NFL really dictates who wins the game and covers the spread. So as long as he's a game manager and doesn't try to do too much, they got a shot. They got a great coach. They got a great defense. If they can stay healthy, the 49ers will be there. But I think Dallas is just too strong.
Dallas is the biggest competition.
I mean, Dave, you've seen them. The speed on this defense on the Cowboys. They got to the quarterback the fastest of any other team in the NFL this previous week.
They are awesome.
Is this one of the best defenses you've seen in a while?
They're as fast a defense as I have seen in a long, long time. I will tell you, Detroit offensively might have the best offensive line because the Eagles had some losses in free agency. Detroit's got a great offensive line. Jahmyr Gibbs is my pick to be the offensive rookie of the year. Got a ticket on him. His speed is insane. Is Jared Goff going to play as well as he did last year? That remains to be seen.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. What was that, Jay?
You got Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra, St. Brown, you're going to get Jamison Williams back. You got Aiden Hutchinson. They addressed their linebacker with Campbell in the draft. I love Dan Campbell. I'm a huge Dan Campbell guy. I think he's your coach of the year.
Yeah, and who starts out the season beating the Chiefs? I mean, that wasn't easy. I know the Chiefs were missing Chris Jones and Kelsey. That sets the tone for the entire season. I took them, as you did, Dave, to win the division before the season started back in the summertime. And I think they're going to be up there. I don't know if they're as good as the Cowboys. I don't know if they're as good as the 49ers, but they're going to be right there. Is there any side or total that you like this week that you want to give out to everybody?
For me, I think Tampa Bay beats the Bears and covers the 3. I know all the, wise guys are saying, you got to take the value with the Bears. The Bears are not a good football team, and I just don't see how 7 days fixes Nate Davis's issues and fixes the other offensive line issues. Adjusted process is better. I think Tampa in the heat is going to be a 101 heat index.
Wow.
I think the Bears have troubles. I do.
Before we let you go, the Cubs, I got a small ticket at 100-1. Do you think they got a shot? Who's going to win the World Series? You think the Cubs got a shot, or you think it's the Braves?
I don't think the Cubs have a shot. And I'm a Cubs guy. I broadcast for them for 25 seasons. They just don't have enough starting pitching. They just don't. Jameson Taillon sucks. You lose today to drop 2 of 3 at Colorado. This guy's giving up dingers left and right. I love Justin Steele. I like Hendricks. Jordan Wicks, the young kid's really good. They just don't have enough. When you get into what I call nut cutting time in October, who are you handing the ball to out of the bullpen? They're banged up. They're closers on the injured list. So, no, I don't think your 100-1 is going to hit.
Dave, thanks for coming on. Love you, brother. And we're going to have you back on the show soon. Thank you so much.
Tell me when. Love being on with you. Love you and your family.
You got it, man. Thank you, Dave. That's David Kaplan out of Chicago. You find him at the Capman. Our next guest, his information is so valuable if you're a sports bettor. Dr. David Chao from Pro Football Doc. Doc, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, cool. I know, 8-Ball, you got a question for Pro Football Doc.
Hey, Doc. With all the injuries the Eagles have in their linebacking core, what's going on with Nakobe Dean, and is he going to be back anytime soon?
Yeah, thanks for asking. We at Sports Injury Central, SICScore.com, we reported by video on Sunday that was a Liz Frank. That's now confirmed, and he's going to be out for multiple weeks, IR time, right? And so that's a lot of depth lost at middle linebacker. And, obviously with the Thursday game, we started liking Minnesota, seeing the Eagles' injuries when it was plus 7.5. Now it's, 6.5? And
it's as low as 6. Yeah, I've seen it as low as 6.
And Bradbury out with concussion as we feared, which means 3 out of the 5 secondary starters. We call the slot back a starter. Okay, the number 3 corner a starter. We put 12 guys on defense because of the importance there. So 3 of the 5 secondary are out. Gainwell with his ribs. Gobi Dean, you mentioned. Fletcher Cox will still probably play through. But, Minnesota, assuming that the Eagles don't know their defensive signals, Minnesota should be able to try and at least hang.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me ask you. One of the games that I haven't watched yet is the Chargers and Miami game. Were there any key injuries from that game that we should know about for this week?
Well, look, the key injuries for the Chargers going into the Dolphins was J.C. Jackson. I don't know how he was cleared to be on the field, and I think he got beat a lot. Now, he didn't play a lot, but Tyreek Hill will make a lot of people look bad. Look, it's a game effort for him to come back from his patella tendon rupture. But, to come back and then try and cover Tyreek Hill, I mean, there were several times when he was beat. He wasn't even in the frame. But the Chargers, and obviously Tua had a great game. That actually was an interesting game, right? It was the draft pick game because it was Miami took Tua and the Chargers ended up with Herbert. That was a couple of years ago. But anyways, yeah, J.C. Jackson was the big one, and it showed on Sunday.
Matt, you got a question from the doc? Your volume, Matt.
I actually do, right? So I have a question. We saw Aaron Rodgers, hurt his Achilles. I have a question going forward. Is this injury in today's era, is it enough to make him retire? Or if he does come back going forward, will he even be close to the scene?
Well, good question. And, I'm on the record and if it doesn't happen, I'm sure people will troll me and come after me. But yesterday on Pat McAfee's show, I basically guaranteed that Aaron Rodgers would return. And here is why. Number one is Achilles recovery is fairly standard. Remember in 2019 when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles with the Warriors? People were saying he's not going to get a max contract now. He'll never be the same. Look at the basketball players that haven't come back. And I was saying, no, give him the max. He's going to be fine, and he's back. And playing NBA basketball above the rim is much harder than being an NFL quarterback, at least in terms of physical abilities. And what I'm saying is, even if Aaron Rodgers loses half a step in mobility, he's still Aaron Rodgers, and that still makes him way faster than my guy Phillip Rivers at the age of 25, even if Aaron Rodgers is 40, right? And faster than Tom Brady at 45, right? So I don't see the injury causing or forcing him to retire. Then it just comes to desire. A, he looked very happy to be with the Jets. B, name one top-level competitor like Aaron Rodgers or anybody who wants to end their career that way on that play. So I say if there's odds anywhere, book it. Aaron Rodgers is coming back and lay the number, whatever it is, odds.
Next up, you got Baltimore going to Cincinnati. I know there's some injuries on both sides of those teams. What's going to impact the game coming up the most?
Well, everyone's looking at Cincinnati for injuries, but we're looking at Baltimore. Look, the attention is on Cincinnati. Oh, my gosh. They laid an egg, not even 100 yards, 82 yards for Joe Burrow. What's with his calf? Look, we've said all along Joe Burrow's calf wasn't going to be 100%, and, it's not. But the worry there is the offensive line for the Bengals. And they just released Lael Collins now. He was, in theory, the projected starter once he got healthy from his ACL. They have the left tackle flipped over, right, and to the right side, and he didn't do that well. Or maybe it was just Myles Garrett, that made everybody look silly. But the real attention should be on the Baltimore Ravens. We started liking them with Cincinnati. The number moved from 3 to 3.5 now already. It's not just J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens. It's center Tyler Linderbaum with a right high ankle. It's left tackle Ronnie Staley with already a bum ankle for a couple of years, now with a new right knee. It's free safety Marcus Williams now out with the pec. The Ravens started the year with 3 out of their 5 secondary members either out or injured. And remember, we count 5 because we say three corners and the 2 safeties. Now it's 4 out of 5. And they're playing who? The Bengals, Joe Burrows, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. And so we loved it at 3, and now it's at 3.5. Now, we just go based on injuries, and we predict. We have a feature line movers. We did it Sunday night that we said that Minnesota line's going to change, and it did. That Bengals line's going to change, and it did. So that's kind of what we go on, just the injuries, knowing how the injuries are going to flow and how it might affect the line.
There's a division game with two teams that not too many people care about this season, but the Colts are playing the Texans. The game was basically a pick 'em. Now it's moved to the Colts -1. Is there some key injuries still on the Texans offensive line or the Colts that people should know about?
Well, look, if they didn't get unmasked already, 60%, 3 out of 5 of the Texans offensive line starters were out. That's why C.J. Stroud struggled, even though the Ravens had their injury issues. Now, for this week, the big thing is everyone's talking about Anthony Richardson. It's not smoke. Anthony Richardson, Shane Steichen says he's going to play. He will play. His bone bruise is different than Travis Kelce's. It happened in the first quarter on his first run of his NFL career. It wasn't the last 2 minutes that knocked him out of the game. That was more the score. Yeah, he might have aggravated. Different kind of knee bone bruise, and we fully believe that Anthony Richardson will play. And if you like the Colts, get on him now before the news is announced that Richardson is really fine and everyone believes it when he's off the injury report on Friday.
Okay, one more real quick before we let you go, Doc. I appreciate you coming on each and every week. Your information is so valuable to sports bettors. I got a significant wager on the Miami Dolphins this week on the money line. Is there any injuries there I should worry about playing New England at Foxborough?
Not anything, just the chronic injuries already on the offensive line of the Patriots there. One of the things we talk about is deltas, and we talk about hidden injuries, right? Everyone knows about a J.K. Dobbins, but do you know about the free safety for the Ravens or the O-line? The other couple of big ones are for this week coming up is that Seattle. They started with secondary issues. They still have secondary issues, but now they're going to miss their starting left tackle and their starting right tackle, bookend tackles. We don't like that, and that's against huge. Detroit. Okay, we don't like that at all. And then the other one is the Pittsburgh Steelers Monday night. I know everyone's focus isn't on Monday. They went from the healthiest team in the league, based on our field views at Sports Injury Central, SICScore.com, to among the more injured. As they host Cleveland. Deontay Johnson out, number 1 wide receiver. Pat Freiermuth iffy with the sternal chest contusion. The right side of the offensive line, the right tackle with a concussion, will he clear? Maybe. The right guard with in a boot. Cam Hayward out, maybe even core muscle surgery. That's a lot in 1 week added to what's happening here from a team that was very healthy to a team that's banged up right now. So
thank you so much, Doc. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you each and every week, and we're going to have you back on next week on the NFL show. Thank you so much. If you want to let everyone know where to find you real quick.
Yeah, go to Twitter, SICScore.com. Lots of information for all you guys to make better decisions for yourself. Know what the injury status is easily by looking at sick data or the field views.
All right, thanks, Doc. Thanks for coming on. Stay tuned for the next segment.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the Phillygodfather.com. And before we start firing with more legendary action, we're going to bring on our guest live from Las Vegas, John Grace.
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Oh, man, what's going on out there in Vegas, brother?
Man, just I've been taking a lot of the NFL action on the all-22s and the film, and, man, ready to fire on some futures. I still think there's a lot of value in the division marketplace, and I got a couple that I'm really looking at this weekend, and a lot of my points that I was going to mention were really just mentioned by the doc over there. Starting with the Lions, man. Seahawks top 2 offensive linemen or tackles on both sides are out. Also, the Lions, this is our first time selling out tickets at Ford Field in their 21-year history. That place is going to be wild. And they have the extra rest from that Thursday home opener. So Lions 5.5 is really my top play so far, and really looking forward to that one. But, good to see you guys.
That's awesome. What's the hot action out there? I mean, the hottest clubs, the hottest restaurants. If someone was coming out there and they wouldn't know where to go, where would you tell them?
Man, I mean, kind of depends what type of vibe or energy you're feeling. I mean, Omnia nightclub at Caesar's Palace is probably the best for most visceral all-around experience with the chandelier in the main room and the electronic DJs like Steve Aoki and Martin Garrix. Gray's at the Cromwell is all hip-hop. They got like Meek Mill coming up, Philly guy. So, yeah, you're looking.
Meek used to hang at my bar in Philly before he blew up. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but, yeah, we're trying to get him on the show on the Maltepes Report. So he's a good cat.
Yeah.
All right, let's get down to business here. Let me go to 8-ball first. 8-ball. Cowboys, Jets. I know you got the best of the number as you always do, but now the line's moved up to 9.5. If it gets to 10, you looking to buy back some of it at plus 10 with the Jets with that defense, or are you just going to hold strong with laying 160 on the money line before that huge injury to Aaron Rodgers?
I'm just going to stand pat here. I mean, if the Jets find a way to win this game, hats off to them. But I love Dallas here, minus 165 at the opening number. I also love Dallas on the teaser. If you can tease them down to 2.5, I'd pair them with San Fran or someone else.
All right, guys. Let me go to Jamie. Jamie, you've done so well in the NFL. You've done so well in the past 3 weeks on all your selections. Is there a big move in the NFL you really, really like that you want to release to everybody?
Well, I have 2 more teasers and one side. I love Dallas to win this game. So, you're probably giving 1.5 to something like that. And then I'd pair it with the Lions, either getting 1 or, half getting even close to even. I like the Chargers straight up, minus 2.5. And I like the Jaguars plus 10.5. I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs, but I like the 10.5. And then you get the Falcons plus 8. So I like that combo. I think the Falcons, kind of showed us something in week 1. I still don't think they're a great team, but I think they're good enough to keep this game close enough with 8 points.
Let me go to Matt Maltepes from the College Kids, one of my lead handicappers at the Phillygodfather.com. Matt, is there a game that you really, really like this week that you want to share with everybody?
So I do like Cleveland a lot, but it's hard to not still like Dallas. Of course, that number moved, but like Jamie said in a teaser, it's a perfect tease spot. You can get to the number 2, 2.5. Yeah, I do like Dallas in a teaser.
What
I like
number
Cleveland.
do you like Cleveland at?
2.5.
That's the current price right now. I know we laid 1 early, but is that the number right now for everyone listening?
That too.
Last I checked, I can check my screen right now. When we look at the screen here, you're looking at 2.5, depending on where you shop.
I got you. All right, let me go to Jimmy. Jimmy, I know you like the Chiefs laying the 2.5 against the Jags. Is there any side or total that you're getting some information on? I mean, I know you get the best information on the planet.
I mean, I already said I was a big Viking this week. I'm a Chief this week. I do like the Dolphins. And I like Joe Burrow this week. So they're my 4 games. Cincinnati, Miami, Minnesota.
You're breaking up a little bit, but we got you. All right, let me go to John Grace. John, out of all the teams on the slate this week, is there one that you like stronger than any other side or total here?
I really like the Lions, like I mentioned. I really think this is a great spot for them coming off the extra rest. Also, the Seahawks having that injury problem. I think they just signed Jason Peters, 41-year-old off the street, to shore up that offensive line. Really like the Lions there. I mean, it seems chalky, but I think it's a great spot for them. Also, Seahawks did go into Detroit and beat them last year. So not to say it's a revenge factor, but I think that's on their minds a lot there. I'm looking at the Bucks, just like David Kaplan's mentioned, man. I used Bears and my Westgate Super Contest picks and really had high hopes for them with DJ Moore coming in. But, man, that's just a dysfunctional offense. You watch the tape, you see the progressions, and he's just checking down and not going through the reads. The line is a mess. Chase Claypool really has got some issues in terms of his desire to want to play and the effort he's putting forward. So I don't see that being enough time for them to really change it. And the Bucks, they went into Minnesota. They're dark horse for the NFC South. I think they might come out and put the Bears out. And then also with you guys, still love the Browns, still love the Dolphins. I know it's going to be a heavy public bet, but those are our teams this year. I'm just going to keep riding with them.
Let me go to 8 ball. 8 ball Thursday night, Eagles, Minnesota. Lines dropping. The floor fell out. Do you think Minnesota has a chance to win this game outright as a plus 290, 280, 270 underdog?
I took the Vikings +8 early. I took some of the money line. I don't think this Eagles team is a great team. I think they have major holes on that defense. You have injuries at linebacker. You have secondary players that are out at safety and corner. Anything more than a touchdown in this game was stealing to me. So on a short week, not much time to prepare and shore up all those holes in the back end. I think Minnesota takes advantage. Hawkinson, Jefferson. I think they go in there and win this game.
Yeah, and I think the Vikings, it's still early in the season, but going into this game, they're a little undervalued. I mean, they had more first downs than the Buccaneers. They had 137 more total yards. They doubled Tampa Bay's passing yards, but they turned the ball over 3 times. And as anyone knows, when you turn the ball over 3 times, you're going to lose the game 90% of the times and not cover the spread 90% of the times. So with the injuries on the defensive side of the ball for the Eagles and all the defensive players they lost, I mean, right away, as soon as that line came out, we looked at each other and we're like, take the 8, take the 7.5, take the 7, bet them on the money line. And I think the Eagles are in trouble. Matt, do you agree?
Yeah, I do think they're in trouble. I don't think they're a team they were last year. I mean, Kaplan came on and said he thinks we're going to see some regression with Hurts. And I think that's going to happen, especially if you have some O-line missing pieces from last year. And yeah, I mean, if you had to take this game, I mean, how do you not take the dog?
Yeah. Jamie, you like anyone else that you want to share with everybody, or?
No, I mean, I do. I like the Bucks, but nothing that official. Other than what I've given out, we've given out a lot of plays. This is an incredible amount of free information, free moves. I mean, there's so much value that you all are sharing with the public, and I'm just so happy and appreciative that we can give out so much great information. You're consistently winning. It's great to have John and Jimmy joining us here, and it's going to be a really exciting week.
Well, the dogs are barking. I think the dogs are barking this week as well. They were barking last week in the NFL, especially the road dogs. This week they're going to be barking as well. 8 ball, do you got any other big moves or sides or totals that you like? Do you like the total in the Tampa Bay game at all? I know that's moved a little bit. Your volume's off, 8 ball.
What'd you say?
I said, do you like the total in the Tampa Bay game at all? Yeah, I know it's.
I didn't touch that game, but I wanted to touch on the Chiefs and Jags.
Okay, fire away, brother.
I'm on the opposite of sheep on this game. I don't like what I saw from KC week 1. Even though they have Superman, and I don't think they can just flip that switch in 1 week. I think they look a little dysfunctional. They didn't look like the high-powered offense they usually do. And the Jags are a very good football team. You got Sunshine over there. I think the Jags cover this game and have a good chance to win outright.
Jamie, why don't you give us a recap real quick of the moves that we've given out so far?
Sure. We can do that. So first thing, I gave out a teaser of Minnesota +12 and the Eagles over 43. Jimmy loves Minnesota straight up +6. Jimmy loves KC -3.
Whoa. I ain't taking this game. I took 7.5 and 7.
Sorry.
Don't sell him short,
Jamie.
Jamie.
I got a reputation here.
Yep, Jimmy got 7.5, so he might not take it at 6. Jimmy likes KC -3. And he likes the Dolphins and he likes Cincinnati. So if you check out our prior shows, you can see some of the futures that we had already had, and looks like all of them are going really well. We had San Francisco Jags in the division. We had the Browns, Dallas, Miami, and at great prices for the Super Bowl. Minnesota and the money line from PGF and the college kids and 8-ball. I like the 7-point teaser of San Francisco -0.5, even 1, and Ravens getting 10.5. 8-ball likes the Cowboys. He got it early at -160. I like Dallas -2 and the Lions +1 in a 6-point teaser. I like the Chargers straight up -2.5. I also like a teaser with the Jaguars +10.5 and the Falcons +8. Matt likes Cleveland -2.5. John Grace likes the Lions -5. I like the Bucks -2.5. I should say John Grace likes the Bucks -2.5. And I also I would take that side if I had to choose. 8-ball likes Minnesota +6, 7, 8, and the money line. And
No 6. No 6.
You don't like the 6.
Get that 6 at. What's going on, brother?
Well, the 6 is where the number is now. So our listeners
I would rather take
6. What do you suggest that they do when they see the line at 6?
Well, listen, everyone's got to follow us on Twitter if you want to get the moves when we give them out, because we give out so much for free. Jamie does, the college kids, 8-ball, Jimmy does. So I'll let Jamie keep finishing up with the recap, the golden recap.
No, it's okay, and I apologize because it's true. It's about the line, it's about the price, it's about the number you got it at, and 8-ball never moves late on lines, and so he liked it at 6, and he liked the money line. He likes the Jags +4. I'm sorry.
We'll just go with it. We'll go with it.
I apologize.
You're winning outright. We'll go with it.
Outright. Doesn't matter.
Outright.
Don't get scared now. Don't get scared now. Points are for.
Hold on, Jamie. You heard that Stevie liked +290. So you're saying 5, 6, 4. It don't matter.
Just keep firing.
Get him, 8-ball. It's our game.
I apologize. The 8-ball is so sharp, and that is my writing error down here. That's the recap, the golden recap for today on the NFL. And
let me give you one more, Jamie, that you can put in there. If it gets to 10, I like the Jets +17 on a 7-point teaser, and the Jags +10.5 if you can find it. I think that Jets defense is just so strong. I think this line's been over adjusted. It's way too many points for what it should have been. And this Jets defense went in there, and they beat a Bills team that, they were the co-favorites to win the Super Bowl, and obviously we were missing Von Miller. But I just think if you can grab 17 points on the Jets, and I do have futures on the Cowboys, and I think they're the best team in the NFL, but both those defenses together, I mean, they're going to be battling it out. So if you grab +17 on the Jets and +10.5 in the Jags, throw that in the golden recap as well.
You got it.
One last move I like is Cincy -3. Ravens are hurt. Left tackle center. Lock that one in as well.
All right. Is that you good with it? We got 40 seconds, Matt. You done with that? Or
yeah.
All right. I just want to thank John Grace. John Grace, let everyone know where they can find you on Twitter, on social media, your websites.
At John Grace. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I do want to release something. Like I said, when I came in real quick, there
30
is some value in the divisions. You can still get this division parlay for +6,100. Dolphins AFC East, Browns AFC North, Jags AFC South, Cowboys NFC East, Lions NFC North, 49ers NFC West.
Sounds familiar, brother. See you in Vegas.
Keep firing on it.
Thanks for coming on. We're going to finish up in our next segment.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the Phillygodfather.com with some of the sharpest sports betting minds on the planet. And talk about leaving with a bang. I mean, John Grace left us with a plus 6150 parlay. Jamie, did you get it? Dolphins to win the AFC?
I think I only got 5 of them. It was Dolphins, Browns, Jags, 49ers, and was it Cowboys?
Cowboys,
Lions.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat.
It's in the chat if you see it. I mean, he rolled out the show with a nuclear bomb there. And those games sound familiar, don't they, 8-Ball?
They definitely do.
I've
seen them somewhere. I can't put my.
Those are all our teams anyway. So yeah, you might as well put a little bit on the 61-1.
Yeah, John Grace is so awesome. So if you go out to Vegas, you definitely got to hit him up. Check him out. One of the greatest hosts. He'll get you in any club, any place you want, any restaurant. He's got all the connections out there. Bobby, we only got, I don't know, about a minute and a half left. Is there anything else you want to leave the audience with that you think is strong this week?
Yeah, I gave out Hawkinson as a premium move over 4.5 receptions, but that number's gone. So we went with Hawkinson anytime touchdown plus 265. Eagles are really hurt at linebacker. Their linebacker core was already thin as it is. Last week, they allowed the tight ends of New England 9 receptions on 11 targets. Hawkinson was targeted 8 to 10 times. I think Kirk goes back to him, and we see him score in the red zone here.
You think the Vikings got a chance for the outright?
I think the Vikings go outright, yeah.
Jimmy, you think the Vikings got a chance for the outright?
Is a bear shit in the woods?
There we go. Let me go to Jamie. Jamie, is there anything you want to leave the audience with? We got about 40 seconds left.
I really want to thank Jacob Media and Sports Grid, and we're on channel 159 on Sirius XM. We're on YouTube, and we're going to be on Twitter. We're going to be on Spotify. We're going to be on Apple Podcasts. We're going to be everywhere.
We're coming for everything, aren't we, 8-Ball? Matt?
Yes, we are.
Coming for everything.
Thank all you guys. I mean, I learned so much from you, and we get so much information from you, and it's just a pleasure to be here. And
well, thanks everyone for coming on. Thanks to everyone for listening. This week we were remote. We weren't in the studio, so it was a little off, but we'll get it back next week. And keep firing. And as always, remember to bet wisely, sharp. And if you're none of those things, bet against yourself. We're out.
Stay sharp.
Be good, boys.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.